Good morning, this is Force 13 Live. My name is Nathan Foy and this is another production from Force 13 HQ, and we're of course tracking Cyclone Berguitta, which is currently located just to the northwest still of Rodrigues, and this storm has now barely moved at all in the last 24 hours, which you will see probably on the satellite imagery, I'm sure. Here at the Force 13 HQ, it's just ticked over to Monday morning, January the 15th, midnight UTC in Mauritius. It's 4 o'clock, and we'll be here for at least the next 2 hours talking to you about what is going on with the storm and what's changed and what more we can deduce in this sort of phase that we are in. We're at the phase before the storm, isn't it, for Mauritius, and many of us for Rodrigues. It's a little bit of a let-off perhaps, because the storm is now slowly moving away after delivering tropical storm conditions. Quite a lot of rainfall, could have been stronger and still might get a lot stronger when it does move away from there and towards Mauritius. Okay, well, let's introduce who we've got with us this evening or this morning or whatever time it is around the world, because we do have people from all across the world here in our room. We've got Gabe, Isaac, Craig, Cesar, Orlando and Strat, all of which apart from Craig are in the Americas. Craig joining me from Scotland. How is everyone this morning?
Hello Nathan and everybody.
Nice. That's Cesar's voice, so we'll talk to him first. They're all over there. Let's just make that screen smaller so we can see everyone. Give everyone free airtime there. Cesar, since we've not heard from you yet, we had that last live stream beforehand, so what are your first impressions of this storm?
Well, right now currently watching the animation of the cyclone is definitely developing very well, probably trying to developing an eye wall, and this is, well, in this case, is kind of concerning because the storm is right now moving so slowly, practically stationary, and that could be an advantage of the storm to gain some intensity before the dry air starts to affect the storm. But once it starts to accelerate, it will be now a significant storm, as the forecast says. But for now, I'm just kind of concerned, I must say, because the storm is looking very good now, and now it's like the big part of it is going to start. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. If you've got any comments or questions for us whilst we're on the air, do send us a message. You can do it on the YouTube page whilst we are live. Type in Force 13 all in text. It will light up for me big and bright. Who else? Who would like to go next? Many people. We'll go...
Yeah.
Which order should we go in? We'll talk to Strat. We've not heard from Strat.
I'll just say hello. It's a pretty nice evening here, so hello everybody.
Is that it?
I guess. I mean, I'll be making sure to answer everyone's questions in the chat. That's
we will take everyone's questions. Isaac, good evening.
Yeah. Hello. Coming in from South Texas over here. Actually, about to get I think we're getting quite cold over here. haven't taken the temperature, but I've had to guess probably in the high 50s, low 60s. I've been looking at the satellite imagery, and it looks like the storm is progressively getting better organized. In fact, I put some new images on the chat if any of you guys want to screen share it.
I showed one of those already, and if just keep posting in there, I'll get them up in due course.
Okay, I'm about to post another band of it, but quickly, I'm just gonna say the same thing like I said last time. Again, we don't know exactly where the storm's gonna make landfall. It could make a direct landfall. It could go to the south or to the north. Nonetheless, the impacts will be felt by the cyclone. Just stay in contact with your local authorities and watch them vigilantly over the next few hours and coming days as the cyclone moves on.
We'll get right into those specifics shortly. Gabe, hello. You're also from Texas.
Yes, hello.
Someplace or other, a colder part of Texas.
Yes.
Almost as cold as here tonight. Yeah.
Yes, 50 degrees. I guess I'll go ahead and start with that we're getting a little bit concerned. I'm getting a little bit concerned over here because the storm is, the satellite imagery and infrared imagery is improving.
What's happened in the last hour or so is a new development, really, isn't it?
Yes. It looks like it's trying to develop an eye, which is really concerning.
Yeah, if it develops an eye, what I'm concerned about is since it's like this early, and it's really starting to kick off. My concern is how strong will it get by the time it reaches nearby Mauritius or La Reunion. That's my concern.
If it does get that strong, then it'll be. If it does do that, then it'll probably be strong if it keeps strengthening.
We're talking in our last stream late last night about how the dry air was still holding on over those islands, and believe it or not, that is still the case this morning. The dry air is still over there, and the storm still hasn't infiltrated, and certainly no rainfall from the storm really reaching Mauritius at all yet. And it's not really very close either. It's still some distance away. Craig, can we hear from you? Or are you on mute at this point? I do not know. But Craig is screen sharing here. Showing you that image.
About the system in general, I was thinking that it had a chance to become a major system, but now I think that chance has gone up a much more because of its current structure, its status, and microwave imagery that I've been viewing. It seems as though it's gone through a bit of restructuring, and it seems as though the cloud tops have really centered over itself over the core, and I believe this is just a setup for disaster when it comes to it strengthening and becoming pretty big of a deal.
Go ahead.
After you.
What really is concerning me is that with its current structure, which I'm positive is going to improve quickly, I'm really concerned that this is not even just a major we're looking at. I'm concerned that this is going beyond that, and we may be looking at a Category 4 cyclone or even worse than that.
This is something that some of the models are saying, and I may as well begin at the extreme end and show you the latest HWRF model run, which looks a bit like this. You can see the storm there developing. This is simulated radar. It's not real, of course, but this is what it's predicting, that by this point here, the closest point to Mauritius there, just a few tens of miles from land, it's got a well-defined eye there and wind speeds of approximately 145 miles an hour. That's approaching 250 kilometers per hour. And then it's moving off towards the southwest, maintaining that intensity as it passes by Reunion, and then further towards the south with the eye opening more. That's just one such scenario. Not quite as bad as the earlier HWRF run, which we also showed on our last stream. But that is one. What is the GFS saying right now then?
It's saying about the same thing that it was last time, but that was the last time I checked. I'm gonna go ahead and check again.
because they've been extremely bullish too.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone can show the imagery in the chat room right now, but Isaac just posted something interesting on about IR imagery, and
Yeah, we've
right
got that.
now it sort of looks like it has the structure of Nate that happened this year in the Atlantic. That sort of blob structure sort of looks similar. Difference is it was backwards.
Okay, they are predicting a 9. They are predicting a borderline category, a strong category 4, borderline category 5 with a minimum pressure of around 935 millibars.
That's it's quite impressive actually. But
it disappears.
I hope really that the storm doesn't intensify in such wind speeds. But anyways, the models of course have the reputation to overestimate intensity of the storms, which it's very important to not believe those models at 100%.
Of course. I mean, there's still so much uncertainty with the track and intensity models. I mean, to give you the two extremes, I mean, some models going with basically the storm not strengthening much more than it currently has, and some models saying category 4 or 5, HWRF, GFS, just those two really. And is it?
ECM definitely has like a middle ground.
Okay.
But still very strong.
And in terms of track, it's anywhere from around 200-300 kilometers north of the islands to about 600 kilometers south of the islands. Still a very uncertain picture.
Yes.
Big variations.
But you would hope. Well, I just want to add this. You would hope that with Mauritius and Réunion, they are fairly small islands, and they have dodged many bullets in the past, and you would hope that that's going to be the case again. Gabe?
When we're done when we're done giving a small update on this storm, I want to talk about subtropical depression Joyce.
Oh boy.
But we're not going to. Talk about that.
Well, this is coming in the context of tropical weather bulletin. We will touch on everything else that's going on at some juncture. But for the time being, I'm just letting the conversation flow. Orlando?
I'm looking at the ECMWF now. If the imagery loads, but it looks like it might be more closer to the islands, actually. So pretty much it brings it really close and actually probably makes a landfall over Reunion. It brings it up to like a 2-3 maybe. As it makes landfall. So this was from 12 Zulu. So this is it's hours old. So I think it would be probably best to wait for the models to view more information.
That's Craig in the background. Did you want to say something?
Orlando.
Sorry?
Struggling to hear him.
Oh. Well, we can hear him fine here, so I don't know what that is. Is there...
do we want to go over rainfall total predictions? Someone's mentioning it in the chat
before
right
that,
now.
Craig, you've been looking at the microwave imagery, haven't you? Has he left me hanging again? Oh.
I haven't.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Go on.
Let's see if there's any recent ones that come in.
Yeah. Alright, whilst you do that, I just want to take one or two questions that were answered earlier by Strat, but just to clear that up, what is the difference between an extratropical, subtropical, and an X system, apparently? Well, X is extratropical, and then you've got subtropical and tropical. Extratropical cold core systems, tropical warm core systems, they form in different parts of the world typically. Subtropical being a hybrid.
There's nothing recent.
I'm looking
Hold
at the other European. I'm looking at the other European model, and it looks quite interesting. I think it's sort of it brings it a little bit more to the north than the ECMWF, but the ECMWF and the Icon model, which is the German model, they both are sort of in an agreement and sort of intensity wise.
Okay. I'm just showing that picture that Craig posted not long ago from the RAM imagery. And whilst that happens, I am trying to go somewhere else to get some more imagery. Maybe we'll get to see Joyce.
Joyce?
My imagery hasn't updated yet.
There's not much of Joyce, I have to tell you.
I
There's
Nathan?
not
bare.
very
don't
much
know.
of Joyce.
I don't know why it's considered as a subtropical
Well, who said
depression. I don't know.
Gabe said that.
No,
Well, I know,
I
but
don't-
Gabe first said
Some-
that, and I'm not sure if you were
Ah.
joking or not, but it doesn't look
Well,
like one
I-
to me.
I thought that he said it true, but I don't. Well, I don't know really, but it looks terrible.
What's
like-
going on?
Certainly does.
I have no idea what is going on right now.
There's
No? Well, me neither.
Oh, well, I do know one thing that is going on. Someone is wanting your attention, Nathan.
I'm quite aware.
Good. Alright.
But I'm in the middle of a live stream, so I can't do much
Yeah.
about that just yet. However, that is what is left of Joyce, which is not doing particularly much, although maybe Jason might have something to say about that because he lives there.
Well, he just can say that
One of our
there's
members.
a bunch of clouds doing nothing.
Yes.
And just above that, you can see that big thunderstorm there. That is supposed to be 98S. It looks appalling. If we can get that image back. Maybe not. We did have that image. The imagery's not
New image.
doing great. But you did see it briefly, and if we go a bit further north, hopefully another image will load, and you'll be able to see 90W. The other system.
Lovely difficulties.
The other area of interest, which is somewhere near Malaysia, and the imagery is still loading. We're almost there. There it is. Not much of that either. That looks just as appalling, really. They both look monsoonal.
Just looking
Well,
terrible.
especially 90W, but it is right on the equator, just 2.5 north at this point. And that's that. And there was one other, wasn't there? 99S, of
Yeah.
course, which is in the picture not far from
It's-
Berguitta, and you can see it there. Not quite, move it over a little there. You can see it just off the coast of Mozambique, northwest of Madagascar, southwest of the Comoros Islands. And it's just a big blob at the moment.
Yeah, but it doesn't represent that it's going to form. It's really disorganized, actually.
Likely to be very weak, but it could, I mean, given its local area and the history of these systems in Mozambique, they historically haven't handled it very well. Flooding happens all the time. So I am a bit concerned about that as well, because it's supposed to be over the area for a few days and then may possibly move back inland over Mozambique, so I'm not sure.
Well, remember
What
when I
happened with that?
remember one storm a few years ago, Fonso. I think
yes.
it was in 2011. It was pretty serious for
One of the
Mozambique.
first storms Force 13 tracked operationally on videos.
Projected peak with the storm right now?
I'm sorry?
What's
For
the current projected
Berguitta?
peak with the, yeah.
Berguitta.
Well, the official is 95 knots.
The
That means,
predicted peak, you
So
say?
just short of major status.
A predicted peak of 95 knots.
I have to take
That
you to
means
task
that-
there, says the JTWC aren't official in this part of the world.
Well, I don't know.
95. Well, it's 90. Well, not 95 knots. 95 knots, 10 minutes sustained, because this is JTWC and they do stuff like that.
No, not
So
on those
that means-
forecasts.
No.
Those aren't.
Meteo France are the officials around here. on
that's the point
La
right there.
Union, and I can show you their forecast map right now. I think this is still the latest, unless the next update is going to be.
Joint Typhoon Warning Center.
They just have put out an update that says, sorry to interject, but as of 4 a.m. you can see the new forecast track, which is pretty much unchanged to the last one. But if you zoom right into this map here, you'll see how the storm has barely moved at all for 4 storm icons. 6-hour periods. 24 hours, and that storm has been...
It practically stalled.
Has moved
exactly
the
same
storm.
Virtually not at all.
It's just... forget it.
But you know, ever since the beginning, they were saying it's gonna move, and it didn't move, and they're still saying it's gonna, and they're still saying it's gonna move now. Will it still continue to defy their forecast?
Of course, Berguitta is moving because it's spinning. Duh.
Yeah. So it's expected to move towards the west. La Union think it's going to peak tomorrow daytime, and that's just before it makes its closest approach to St. Brandon, which is that tiny island just above the darkest cyclone icon there, filled in cyclone icon, and then towards the southwest, affecting Mauritius late on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I don't remember.
Wednesday. Late on Wednesday, and then La Réunion on Thursday morning. They're saying that might change though as well.
Hurricane 360 says, will there be a South Indian Ocean animation?
As if you have patience.
Well, yeah, we're not going to do it now. Not until at least April, May.
Craig, I just sent a new image in the chat if you want to share that.
July.
A new image came out.
I'm already over it.
But there's the latest right now. If you've got any more questions for us whilst we're on the air, do send us a message. We are here for 2 hours tonight. And just to remind you of what the schedule is going to be tomorrow, we don't really know what it is, to be honest. But I assume that we're going to be doing some more updates throughout the day. We will be trying to coincide with La Réunion's updates. They do updates every 6 hours. They do it at 4s and 10s, AM and PM. And obviously... It really depends on how much this storm develops and whether there's a real huge need to bring out an update at a particular time. Will determine how often we do them, really, I guess. But no doubt we'll be doing some more live events in the very, very near future. Who'd like to go next?
Whoever wants to talk first.
Craig?
Well, we haven't heard much about Craig. Maybe you should...
I don't know if anyone wants to show any models.
Yeah.
Well, I will find some models, but I can't screen share because my Discord is...
I'll take a crack at that.
That's
I can screen share right now, so I'll crack that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here we're starting with the GFS.
It's everyone's favourite part. This is one of... You know, we seem to have a routine now in these pre-storm situations, and I'm not taking it lightly at all, but there's always this section where we always look at the models and we're just poring over them all the time as we try to figure out exactly what this storm's going to do. Take it away.
Here's our storm right here. This is 6 hours out from 18Z. The GFS decides to bring it down to a peak of 935, but if we go to the actual storm, it only shows a peak of 94 knots. It does still but this brings it dangerously close to the islands, very close to them actually, within hurricane force winds for both the islands down here. And if I just go back to the regular, then it sweeps it towards Madagascar and then down south and out to sea. CMC decides that it will be very weak apparently. But the CMC often play storms regularly. The Icon, the German model, peaks it. What does it peak it? Actually, peaks it right when it's closest to the islands at 968. So that's more. And then all the models seem to think that it'll move closer to Madagascar and then just recurve out. That's the only similarity.
Yeah, is there a single model that's predicting a Madagascar landfall? I don't think so.
Predicting a Madagascar landfall?
Yeah, just out of curiosity there.
Out of all these models here, the Euro might bring it. The Euro shows the least curve, but it doesn't bring it close enough to a landfall. I don't know what this is with the JMA, but.
And what was the ECMWF's peak there?
ECMWF. Let me.
What did it peak as?
I just gotta go find out. Indian Ocean.
Completely gone then. Oh, there you go.
Well, according to
967.
967. So these pressures are going up every forecast, because we were talking about 950s earlier, and now we're talking about 960s. So maybe it's going to be a bit. The trend is weakening, maybe, in the forecast.
Euro says peak of 960, but that's after it passes the islands.
But that is still significant strength. Category 2, 100 and something miles per hour, over 160 kilometers per hour.
Navgem says a 963 peak. JMA's broken for this area. GFS shows a 935 peak. It shows a 938 right next to the islands. But
yeah, that's
GFS
still crazy.
GFS has been very bullish. And the icon shows a 968.
But the HWRF is on board with the GFS, and those are two models. GFS, which has historical prestige, and the HWRF, which performed well in this basin last season.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to pull that up. It isn't coming up on my sites at all.
I've already shown the HWRF, actually.
Okay.
Well, that was Strat.
So those are what the models are saying right now.
Yeah, interesting.
All of them are kind of in consensus that it comes very close to the islands at this point, but it's still a few days out.
Yeah, I guess the track is becoming clearer, but still out of focus. If you've got any questions for us regarding what you've just seen about the models, do send us a message, or about anything else to do with the storm. We'll take anything and everything that comes our way. Start your message with Force 13 all in text. It'll light up big and bright for me to read out.
And well, watching the current tracks of the models, Berguitta will pass very well, not that very close, but in a close distance in the southeast coast of Madagascar, and that means that Berguitta will be dissipating at this point. Probably storm surge will be the main
concern.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm forgetting all the words. The main concern. But still, probably Berguitta at this point will be very weak, but still could be kind of dangerous.
Just in case I didn't quite make my point before, and might have been misleading in it, what I was meaning to say is that the peak intensity on those other models, apart from the GFS and HWRF, are less strong than they were in earlier runs, which I find intriguing.
Oh, poor baby's crying.
Oh no, baby. I think someone asked in chat a little earlier which is better, the Euro or the
Wasn't
GFS?
Marcel, was it, by the way?
No, it wasn't.
Let's settle on that.
Someone's asking why the GFS and the CMC are so bullish. I think they meant HWRF instead of CMC. But why are
we'll talk about that in a moment, but I just want to divert everyone's attention back to the... this is the picture that we're looking at. This is a satellite projection of estimated rainfall per hour. It's not a radar, it's a satellite estimate. And I just want to talk everyone through these colours in case they find it interesting. You can just about see the island of Rodrigues there towards the bottom, underneath that band that was there not so long ago. And you can see the centre of the storm to the northwest core. The greens and yellows indicate around a ½ inch per hour falling. Then it goes into a sort of orange, and then into a dark red purpley colour, I think, and that by that point it's at about 1 inch per hour, and then it goes into that light pink colour, that rose colour that you see near the centre of the storm there. That's over 1 inch per hour, and then there's a red in that as well, and that is 1.5, and then you might just see some purple within that red there as well. and that purple colour when that appears is 2 inches per hour, which is quite a lot. And as you can see, it's very concentrated towards the centre of the storm. Not many areas are getting that, but a lot of rain falling at sea at the moment.
Okay.
Also looks like the main band is still over Rodrigue as well, so they're still getting pretty rough conditions even now.
Now, just picking up that point before, why is the GFS and CMC so bullish? Well, the CMC is very bullish. They make loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of storms every day.
Well,
in fact, I'd be surprised if it was not. If the CMC must have been taken over by a certain hypothetical hurricanes community. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. That's a very obscure question. What's your opinion on Super Typhoon Cimarron? Now, that storm occurred in 2006 and I believe affected the Philippines, a significant typhoon.
Yes.
Yes, it was significant.
But I don't
It's the
have
only
much to
thing
say about it, to be quite honest. Not at this moment in time, because we're talking about something completely different.
Do you want me to do that for you?
Well, that's up to you if you have an opinion. I don't particularly have an opinion.
Well, I mean, I just have your data. I have a database that has Cimarron on here.
Yeah, but
We are
right
building
now
it
it's
anyway.
not,
To share
it's
that.
not it, right now it's not like the best
Time.
moment. Yes.
I don't know.
I don't.
Alright, then let's move on.
But there we are. Rainfall is slowly approaching Mauritius, and there's that little fringe band that's on the western side of the storm there. It'll fizzle out before it gets there. Really not much going on.
Not really, actually.
So there we are. Does anyone have any new images up there? Oh yes, there's one. There's some. Says I was posted some model runs. I don't know if you want to screen share those, Strat.
Screen share the model runs. Yes, I will.
Because those are very useful as well. We can talk through those for a while.
Here's
Actually,
the,
you can.
I can
even
actually
that-
find these on the site.
Even that some tracks, or well, the forecast of Berguitta is being more like clear. You can see the model still very random. I don't know how to say about it. More evident in the CMC model tracks. It's
Now here's
just-
GFS ensemble. Is that initiating the storm at 988? I thought it said 68.
No, it says 8.
988. Okay, that's good. As you can see, most of the GFS ensembles they're taking it sort of well. The islands are going to get hit, apart from that one outlier there to the south.
Yeah, so that's the GFS, and then look at the CMC ensembles.
Oh,
I don't know what to say about that.
dear.
the CMC just is crazy.
Although
Well,
generally
in
weaker.
Yes,
Significantly.
It's generally weaker.
practically
but-
puts the storm more weaker, but God, what the hell?
Looking at just models in the past, it tends to, even though it generates more storms, it tends to forecast them to be weaker than they actually are.
So what
But-
really is that model good for then?
I
But-
don't know. Is that what it? Yeah, that's what it shows here too in Cesar's photo. I don't really know what to say about that.
A new satellite image just came in, and it looks like it definitely is trying to form an eye. I'm posting it in chat right now.
I'll
Breaking.
take a look at it.
I just posted it up right now. It looks to be trying to form an eye there. Looking at the
Yeah,
temperatures
right where
on
my
there.
mouse is.
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
Interesting.
open up a page.
It's
Breaking
not
news.
trying, it is forming.
And
Now,
it's
Craig, I
right-
don't think we got to hear properly about what you saw of the storm's structure. You didn't have any recent imagery, though, did you?
No.
Okay. Strat?
I was saying, right where my mouse is where the eye's trying to form at the moment. Right on top of it.
Yeah, we can see
Couldn't
it.
know, I couldn't know it.
We might want to move the mouse because the mouse is so small. It looks like it'll be the pinhole.
Yeah, but you see there's some nice convective bands wrapping in towards the center of the storm now, trying to fully
It's a
wrap around.
typical appearance of a storm that's got a lot of energy intensifying.
See, the southern side is a little bit weak and drier more, but it's starting to wrap around more and continue to gather structure.
Don't let that fool you though, because the southern side has the highest wind radius.
That is true. It's trying to improve its structure at the moment as well, which it's been succeeding at doing over the past 6 hours.
I'll try to I'll try to provide new bands as soon as I can here.
Yeah, thank you, Isaac. And then
You're welcome.
see, here's just the loop in the past 4 hours or so. This goes up to 23:15. So this is about, as the most recent frame is an hour ago on this one.
Uh-huh.
Wait a minute, an hour ago.
Yeah, it's a bit delayed on ramp right now, but it's continuing to look much better as a storm compared to 6-8 hours ago. And still a lack of movement in general as well.
Development.
Well,
So what do you think we're going to see by, well, midday maybe, local time, considering it's getting on for 20 to 5 in the morning there? What do you think we're going to see in 6-7 hours time?
Maybe 80 miles an hour?
And then maybe an eye trying to maybe an eye on satellite visible imagery, maybe
a more clear eye is what I was referring to.
What?
A much more clear eye is what I was referring to. If it's beginning to wrap around this quickly, then we'll definitely be seeing a strong eye by tomorrow.
This is probably the most pivotal point of this storm, because this intensification phase will probably determine how strong it ends up impacting the islands.
True.
Depending on how logic plays out.
Although, do you reckon if it stayed weaker, do you think it would stay further north and completely miss those islands to the north? Considering that stronger storms go poleward more readily.
I don't know. What do you think, Craig?
Possibility. But trends are trying to show a stronger system, so I don't know about that.
Well, of course, I'm talking hypothetically, ironically.
Yeah, hypothetically, of course.
It's all theoretical.
Is this a new image?
The Vorak imagery there, does that tell us anything for those who saw it?
Yeah. Isaac is posting some new images as well. That are very
some people are going to be
detailed.
doing some skull comparisons or something. Or
Oh,
the brain or whatever. I don't know. There's going to be something in there. Someone will see something
gracious,
in the picture.
It looks like it's a brain with an eye.
Oh dear, are we onto something again?
Well, you gotta give the storm one thing. It is creative.
Just to reiterate, just in case you didn't know, and actually Mauritius did an update half an hour ago, there is still a Class 3 warning in effect in Rodrigues. That has been in effect for quite some time now, maybe 24 hours, I'm not sure. Very close to that, if not. I'll just read out the text in that. The severe tropical storm Berguitta has remained stationary since yesterday, and at 4 o'clock this morning it was located at about 180 kilometers, almost to the north-northwest of Rodrigues. That is in latitude, according to them, 18.1 degrees south and 62.9 east. Cyclonic conditions, the possibility of experiencing them still exists. Their next update will be at 7:10, and they're expecting winds of 50 kilometers per hour, gusting to 120.
Yeah, quite dangerous.
And there's still no warnings yet in effect for Mauritius.
I think they should put now the warnings, because the storm will start accelerate soon, and people will not get like well prepared if the official
if the officials don't send any warnings.
At the very least, they need watches put in place very soon.
Well, at least, but they didn't actually.
I don't know if they do watches in there, but they in In Reunion, they do a pre-cyclone alert. That's their first stage. They've not put that into force yet. I mean, I think that will happen. I think as soon as they see the storm moving, they'll probably put out those warnings.
Probably, and I guess that the pre-storm thing you said,
basically the equivalent to a watch, yeah.
Yeah, practically it's an equivalent to a watch, but I'm assuming that is a tropical low that has chance of cyclonic development.
No, anything.
Anything. Ah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. To my knowledge.
We should ask them.
And like I said earlier, I'm gonna say it again because obviously there's gonna be new people coming in and out. Please heed the information from your local officials over there. Pay really close attention. Be really vigilant on your current situation and where you are. Now, we do not know exactly, like I said, where the storm is going to be at. It could be to the south of Mauritius, could be to the north, could be a direct hit. We do not know. And how strong it is too much to be determined right now. As you can see, it's trying to pop out an eye, so that could be a sign of things to come. But again, make sure you have a radio handy with you, batteries, regular stuff, and be prepared to take shelter. Always have a plan, just in case the worst comes to the worst, and just follow local officials and be really vigilant on that. And that's really all I could say. But just wanted to let people know again.
Thank you. Earlier, Norway Mapping asked me, when do you think we can see the database? And I just want to talk for a brief moment about that. The Force 13 database is something that we've been working on for nearly 2 years. Probably, when finished, the biggest cyclone database available. At the moment, it contains 13,000 storm entries, and we are working on putting 44 different criteria of data on each and every storm, which will culminate in something over 500,000 different data values. So it's a huge database which we are putting out. As to its publication, obviously it will take a very long time to complete. We will be putting out some basic database information like the actual storm intensities and what the storms actually were in years gone by over the course of this year, I expect, with the first results probably appearing as the website gets its structure and content back throughout the course of this month. Obviously this storm sort of puts those plans on hold a little bit, as of course we have these priorities, but I thought I'd give that just a mention there whilst the opportunity arose. Who'd like to go next?
I would. Speaking of the database, someone wanted earlier to know about Super Typhoon Cimarron of 06.
Yes.
And I was saying earlier that I do have the Force 13's database, or Force 13's estimates on Cimarron, and I wanted to ask you, Nathan, do you mind if I say what those are?
Well, we've done it before. It is common knowledge within the team.
Really? When?
Well, whenever someone asks for a storm intensity, I usually provide it. Not for this particular storm, because no one's asked for it yet, but go on.
Okay, well, Force 13's estimates have it at 165 miles per hour and a pressure of 902.
Very strong. So, just in case anyone wanted to know, that is the case.
That random one person who wanted to know in the chat.
Now, when do you guys think the winds will start really being felt in Mauritius? I mean, people were talking to us yesterday and early today saying that they were feeling gusty winds already, but the first sustained tropical storm conditions.
I think
probably
in the next 3 days, possibly.
Well, clearly.
2 or 3 days.
yeah.
Well,
I was thinking sooner, actually, somehow. Do you think it will happen today at all?
Well, I don't know, really.
No, it's difficult for you guys, isn't it? Because half of you are still in yesterday, and I'm talking about today as in Monday.
Talking about the 15th.
Possibly tomorrow, then.
I think it's not out of the question that it could happen today, but it'll definitely happen by Tuesday.
Yeah.
That seems to be a very likely scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the case, the islands are going to be filling at least tropical storm conditions, and maybe we were discussing earlier even hurricane conditions. But as time goes
some
on,
models say.
as some models say,
And-
but as time goes on, we're kind of figuring out it just keeps rising.
And kind of going on to that, from my experience with Hurricane Harvey, I also want to say, make sure everybody over there in the islands and Mauritius, make sure you are prepared for this thing, just in case the worst comes to worst, and it does either do a really close landfall, like an eyewall landfall or an eye landfall over the islands. Make sure you're prepared for it. You have your essentials, because I'm pretty certain all the local stores there and grocery stores are probably going to run out of supplies soon, knowing that the cyclone is at least coming near the islands. So another thing to point out for the people who are on the islands, just make sure you get everything prepared, at least plenty in advance from the storm, so you could get what you need and not have to wait in lines for hours on end.
Did you experience that?
I didn't go to this. I didn't see the stores personally, but I saw with my friends and everything. There was lines backed up like all over the place. You had to wait maybe I want to say 5 hours for maybe one piece of plywood, even if they had any, because they kept on running out of them.
Right.
So
That happened when Harvey was approaching to your HQ, right?
yeah, the lines are bad, but. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out too. So make sure you're prepared, as soon as you can. Not, when you get in tropical storm force conditions and decide to go to the grocery store and get last minute stuff. Do it like ASAP, like as soon as you can. The earlier the better.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point leaving it to the last minute when you've got all this opportunity now.
Yeah, practically.
Much better to be safe and be prepared ahead of time than to put yourself in danger because you're not prepared at all.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and especially since it's an island, they're probably going to run out of stuff faster because it takes a bit longer for supplies to come in.
And
Maybe, although Mauritius is not like, say, some of those small Pacific islands. Mauritius has a population of 1.2 million. It's quite large. Yeah. Although, being an island, it will have its difficulties if the worst does happen, of course.
But I just wanted to point that out, so if anyone else wants to go ahead, you could go.
It won't be me. Who haven't we heard from for a while?
Orlando? Is he still here?
I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go next.
Image.
If you've got any questions for us, do send them in whilst I calculate some miles for this storm's current position, which seems to be all over the place, I have to say. This storm is not for moving. Not yet, anyway.
At least looking at satellite, it's been virtually stationary for the past
day.
About a day now.
24 hours of no movement.
Speaking of satellite, a new image just came in just now.
Yeah.
2 new images came in on RAM since I last checked, and now on RAM you can start to see an eye popping out, or at least trying to.
Let's try and get the image animated here. You can see some progression of this storm.
Here's the newest image. Stratif, want to screen share it here?
Thank you, Isaac.
Welcome.
The original.
Now I'll try to get other bands.
This is the newest image. Do you know what time this was from exactly?
6:30 p.m. It's a few hours behind. I mean, few minutes behind. I mean.
Now, when you say 6:30 p.m., you mean your local time, which is 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
19 minutes ago.
So
okay.
It was taken at 6:30.
I just rounded up to make it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Indeed. Now, I wonder if Berguitta will be doing a bit of hiccuping, or whether it's really on the road to becoming what the models prophesized. Let's hope not. But
yeah,
I don't think there's any dispute that that is an eye, or the beginnings
Well,
of
it's
an eye.
not an eye yet, but it's probably trying to form one.
I think within the next 2 hours we'll be able to tell for sure if it's.
That's a
actually
shame. We're only
going
here
to
for
be
one more.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have continued for some time, but it's getting late here, and we're not quite accustomed to Mauritius time. So we're going to be getting some rest after the end of this show in just over an hour, and then we'll probably start early bird again tomorrow morning our time, which by the time time zone's all confusing, but afternoon Mauritius time, I expect we'll be starting to see a lot of updates, maybe beginning at around 4 or 5 p.m. local time is when we're going to really start ramping up the updates.
Just was it comparatively here? I'm actually gonna find Isaac's previous images.
Yeah, this should be up there.
Yeah, these are the. All right, so this is the older image here, and this is the newer image. You can see from the image from 21 minutes ago.
Hold on a minute, do that again.
This is the older image. This is the newer image.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I was gonna point out the stronger convection of the center is trying to wrap around the center of the storm.
Yes, but don't you think it's slightly weaker on the southern side?
It does look like it a little bit right around here. Oh, don't know what that is.
You'd probably give this 70 miles an hour now, wouldn't you?
I would. The thing that will be a give is whether or not the core convection manages to wrap all the way around, or if the southern side continues to not stay very strong, even though the wind field there is the largest.
Interesting. Trying to figure out what this storm is doing.
Oh. But you can see from the two frames that the convection is starting to curl around more of the storm in general.
I believe we're now joined by Addison.
Oh. Huh.
Good evening.
Hello. Yep. Hello.
I hope you didn't mind me referring to you by name.
Nah, it's fine. Just a little bit of a shock.
Yes, a jolt and a shock. Well, this is live television, supposedly.
Well, I guess.
So tell us, what are your impressions of this storm?
It seems to be, in my opinion, it seems to be doing a wrapping. That's normally what I would see intensification, in my opinion, at least.
Alright, the signal's a little bit jumpy there, but I think we got the gist of that.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm still looking between the two frames. It seems like the southern side gets a bit weaker, but the eye's a bit more clear, even though it isn't really out
I guess
yet.
we're looking too much into it, really, aren't we?
We are.
Yes. Well, yeah, we are. We're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. We have to wait till later today.
Well, we are meteorologists, so...
This is just another.
Well, yeah,
Supposedly.
But this
Not really.
Not professional meteorologist,
Yeah.
but
Actually,
I think the most professional person in this room is probably Craig, and he's the one who knows more about Southern Hemisphere cyclones than we do.
Oh, he wasn't the
I
other
was actually
day. He
gonna
was
say,
falling asleep.
Nathan, I was actually going to say, Nathan, this type of image that Isaac's also posted.
Hold on, let's get it back. Yeah.
This is the older
delve too
picture,
much
and this
into
is the
that.
newer one.
We won't.
This is the old one, and this is the new one. This shows a much better presentation overall.
Yeah, but still, in the grand scheme of things, it's not
Yeah,
saying much
exactly.
yet.
It's not seeing too much yet, so I'll just go back to look for chat questions.
Well, I can tell you there aren't any. But that's fine. That means we must be doing an excellent job, surely. Otherwise, people will be asking us lots of questions and saying nasty things. Well, here is the latest picture of one of the latest pictures of the storm as well on this particular imagery. Let's take a look back now at the satellite radar wannabe rainfall. Rainfall estimates here, and you can see in those latest frames actually, big purple blob there, and that purple denotes over 2 inches of rain per hour, and the satellite estimates are telling us here, guys, more rainfall is being produced by the storm in the latest satellite images.
which that means that Berguitta is intensifying quickly, possibly.
That's surely a sign of intensification, isn't it?
Well, it's of course showing signs of intensification, but how fast we don't know yet. But it definitely looks really good right now, and it's going to start being a really concern for the people in Rodrigues, on the Reunion, well, the whole Reunion Islands, including Mauritius.
You might want to call them the collective name the Mascarene Islands.
I don't know. I never heard
I
of
just
that
posted an
actually.
interesting image.
Mauritius, Reunion, Rodrigues, St. Brandon, which I believe is unpopulated, or at least partially... Oh, what's the word? You know when people come and go. No permanent population as far as I'm aware on St. Brandon.
Craig posted a picture of the newest microwave
Vacation.
image, and it's starting to look more impressive in the last
Just hold
few
that. There it is. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're seeing on the satellite indicated rains. A little bit more clearly shown there.
Exactly.
So that is a
Yeah,
very
see,
tight eye wall
storm's
forming, is
getting
it, Craig? Craig?
Pinhole
We
eye.
lost him.
He said
Okay.
pinhole.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And you can see
Say
its
hello to a rapidly intensifying storm.
potentially. You can see its proximity to those land areas there, Mauritius on the left-hand side. And you can just about make out Rodrigues there as well. But there we are. We're just about to finish the first hour of our coverage here. We're going to be here for one more hour until the end of that, at 2 AM UTC, 6 AM Mauritius time. And then we'll be calling it a night over here at Force 13 HQ, but we may have other people on hand to do updates. I've no idea. If any of you guys want to do updates at this room, you can. As long as you're doing without me. I don't know. We'll see whether that's feasible or not. But of course we will be starting a proper live streaming schedule and video schedule by afternoon Mauritius time. Anything else?
Nothing else. Other
Well,
than the fact
Yes, when are we gonna be? So after we finish the live coverage in about an hour tonight,
Yeah.
when are we gonna be doing the coverage tomorrow?
Well, as I said, about 4 or 5 PM Mauritius time, probably, maybe later. I don't know yet. We'll talk about it more in the next hour. More to come.
All right.
I guess that works then.
Our live coverage continues in a moment. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com, which is still under construction right now, but check it out anyway. You can also find us on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already, search Force 13 all in text. Same on Facebook, put us a like on there as well, and you can also send us a message there, or on Twitter. We're at Force 13, the handle on Twitter. You can also add our official account Force 13 on Skype, or add my personal account on Discord, Fool13 at extension 9094. Also for this storm we've teamed up with Mateo a Cyclone Maurice. Check out their Facebook page for latest discussion there too. watching Force 13's live streaming service. You join us for our second hour of live coverage on Cyclone Berguitta, which is still sorta stalling and makes us really drowsy, slowing down in our speech. There it is though right now, and although we have realised in the last hour quite seriously that this storm is intensifying, Class 3 warning still in effect for the island of Rodrigues, part of Mauritius. Mauritius itself not under any warnings yet, and no pre-cyclone alert for Réunion Island either. Well, we'll wait and see whether that starts to occur soon as this storm gets a spurt on. Will it? Won't it? Well, Réunion still thinks so. They're still saying that the storm will get a move on now, but they have been saying that for pretty much the last 24 hours. All of that time, the storm has been defying them. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm joined by the team in this hour. First, you get to see my beautiful base here at Force 13 HQ, as I look completely unprepared as always, but we'll also talk to the team. But of course the personalities are nothing, it's the storm that we are watching. But for what it's worth, we are joined by our team. Craig, Orlando, Strat, Gabe, Isaac, Cesar and Addison, 8 including me, which is a lot. Let's get down to business then.
Yeah, a new satellite image just appeared. If Strat wants to share it,
Well,
it still looks fairly the same. It's trying to, looks like it's trying to push convection on the southern side a little bit of that, where the eye is trying to develop.
So pull all
Let's
three
see
of
it.
those together and show them off. And this will be the start of us overanalyzing things once again. This is the oldest photo. This is the second oldest photo, and this is the one fresh from a couple minutes ago.
What on earth is that?
Something.
Country music, I guess.
What's it now?
yes,
Somebody's
But-
having good
Welcome
time
to
there.
Texas.
This is the
not me.
newest photo that just came out 3
Yep.
minutes ago that Isaac just posted for us right here.
Don't delve into it too much because cloud tops will form with a developing eye.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Is that the eye, or is the centre of the storm going to be further west? Don't
I
want to
think
throw
that might
cold
be
water
the
at
eye.
all,
He's
but
doing a Pac-Man.
you might see
Yeah,
that.
I think that might be the eye.
You might see that eye feature disappear shortly, and the new one, or the new one
It
that
could just
forming.
capitulate.
The first one might not have been an eye at all.
If it,
You
wa-
see
if
what
it
I
wasn't
mean?
an
It doesn't
eye-
appear to be in the centre of the storm, or maybe it is. It's difficult to tell, isn't it?
It's weird because you see that really like
I think-
more convection thing.
But it
kinda
is a
wrap
very
around
compact.
it.
Well, Craig, of course, looking
Here,
at
give me
that
a second.
microwave imagery, if it does have an eye, well, it's very compact, so maybe it is. Who's going to talk next?
Hello.
Hello.
Well,
I don't think many people.
while we're kind of in this lull of talking here, I'm gonna repeat what I said last stream for those newcomers that are on the stream. Be prepared for always be prepared for this storm. Make sure you have a radio handy. Listen to the local officials and government agencies over there, because they're trying to save your lives here. Get stocked up on things right now while you can, because I would imagine stores are probably gonna get packed with people trying to get supplies and groceries. So try to get prepared as soon as you possibly can, and don't wait till like those 45, 50 mile an hour winds start coming in and it's too late. If you guys do get any.
People do that.
At this point in time, we don't know whether the storm is gonna go to the north of the islands, to the south of the islands, or make a direct landfall on them. At this point, we don't know. And the storm's intensity, like we're seeing right now, is to be decided right now, as the storm is looking like it's trying to intensify in the last 2 frames. But again, I just wanted to repeat that. Make sure you listen to your local officials. And yeah.
Craig, are you able to speak?
Hello?
Okay, we'll talk to Orlando first.
Okay, right now, I'm looking at the system and the imagery so far. I actually think that just might be how the inflow is, and
we're looking at a new image now,
it's
Orlando. Strat?
Yeah, this is something Craig just posted more.
Orlando, are you seeing this, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's at the exact location that it's supposed to be.
You think that's going to be the eye?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the eye.
Hmm. Well, that's sobering.
It currently says, when did this come out? 2336 UTC. So
some time ago.
About 40
Hour and a half.
minutes ago, right?
Hour
40
and a
minutes
half.
ago? Hour and a half.
Hmm.
It said an hour and a half.
You guys
so
let me
the storm
know.
was about
You guys let me
58
know if
knots.
the music is too loud, and if the music is still too loud, and I'll tell them to turn it down.
Yes, it's loud.
Why are we having music at all?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
I have my household just loves music.
Oh, I see. Well, you'll just have to have your microphone activated when you're actually talking, and we'll get by.
That's fine.
What were we saying?
Storms.
About the
Lots
cyclone.
and lots of storms. Speaking
About
of,
the eye of the eye-like feature of Berguitta.
All right, Addison.
just thinking about choice and 90W.
Ah.
90W is particular because I don't normally see invests this south before.
Well, yes, but it still looks appalling, as we saw briefly in the first. Hour.
Yeah, but it could do some sort of northeast loop and then head straight back to Malaysia or Thailand, maybe.
Well,
If a front does affect it, that's just my idea.
if anyone wants to bring the phase diagrams up for those storms, I'd be more than happy to discuss them. But at the moment, I can't bring anything up on that.
Yeah, I'll
It's gonna
continue
have
to
to go-
pull up new photos as soon as people post them in.
Well, someone gets Strat to show us the phase diagrams. That might be a good idea. Maybe not.
Silence.
Because I'm stuck with this imagery that I'm showing on the screen here. It's all very technical here at Force 13 HQ, and you know.
Meanwhile, I'll look for more questions.
If you do want to send us a question on the air right now, we are live for another hour. If you are watching us on YouTube, of course, if you're watching after the fact, then of course you won't be watching live, and we won't be responding to your questions. But even so, if you are watching after the fact, you can also send us a message on our social mediums. Search Force 13 on Facebook and Twitter. You can also add Force 13, our official account, on Skype, and on Discord. My personal account is Fool13, FOOL13, hashtag 9094.
Someone's asking if this is a hurricane yet. No, not quite yet.
Start your message with Force 13 in the comments, and it'll light up big and bright for me anyway, so do that and it will be lovely. Plain sailing. Now get me off the screen. There it goes. I was trying to get me off the screen.
Alright, it's not a hurricane yet, but it's getting there.
Put up screen.
We were talking about
share.
maybe 70 miles an hour earlier. The update there at the top of the hour still went with 65 in absence of new information, so I don't know. But interesting to see what happens. hard to tell what direction it's moving in now. You think there's northward movement there? It has been a
Maybe
very
the slightest
slow,
bit.
very slow millimetric
Maybe the
progress
slightest.
Actually
towards
doing
the north.
nothing. Like this, it's like Berguitta is deciding where to go, or something.
What was his name?
He's lost.
Lost.
Yes, he's trying to find her way.
But I think the more north it can get right now, the less danger there will be to those islands.
Although
Oh.
I think it would do in a.
Here, I will screenshot.
It might end up,
first.
you know, taking a similar path to Carlos in the end, for all we know.
I will.
Well, I was
screenshot this right
thinking.
now.
I was thinking it could pull an in what? A what?
Inawo? Really?
And now,
Yeah.
Really?
It could pull that.
It's not gonna get there.
No, not even close.
Ewado.
Oh, you guys.
What's an Ewado?
And
Inawo.
Enawo Inawo. Well, it
I
happens to
think
the
we
best of
need
us,
to-
doesn't
I
it,
think-
Craig? On Sapien Island. Anyway,
I pulled up.
I think we need a Force 13 teach on how to say certain words.
Yeah, good idea.
I haven't
having that
I pulled up the.
problems and-
yeah, let's get some of these satellite. Two people in the stream are. Two people in here are showing us the satellite imagery loops.
You'll, at least on this one.
The
as
same
of,
storm, is it?
Yeah, this is our storm right here.
I don't know
it's-
who's
it's starting
showing
up
what,
the
but
eye.
I'm on. Hold on, whose screen am I looking at here? Two people are showing. Strat and Addison are showing us both the same storm. Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah, so
But you'll
we'll
see.
turn our attention.
I'll see right here in the last frame. You're
Yeah, I'll start with Strat and then we'll go to Addison's screen. Okay, Strat, go.
Right in the last frame here, we're starting to see what we've located on the microwave as the eye. We see it starting to clear out a little bit on the satellite. Still,
Yep.
probably not a hurricane yet. It's pretty cold there still, but it's starting
Yep.
to clear out and warming.
I don't
near
know. The
eye.
NHC would call it one, probably.
That is
Let's
true.
face it.
If that's not a hurricane, I would be deeply concerned.
It has to
I mean,
sustain
that-
itself for a little while, though, doesn't it? You know,
I'd say maybe in
we've
an
only
hour
been
or
looking at
two.
this for not even an hour yet, and we can't call it a hurricane after so short a time.
If it keeps it up
Yeah.
for another 2 hours, then I think it's safe to say it's
Yeah.
a hurricane.
Let's take a look at Addison's imagery of 90W
mine off.
right now. The invest just off Malaysia, and any thoughts?
Well, I think it could do what? Kim.
What?
Yeah, we definitely need.
Now you're looking.
someone to pronounce
You're
these.
looking at Typhoon Cimarron there. It's not going to do that.
Cimarron.
Please
Oh my
stop.
God.
Cinnamon.
What?
Typhoon cinnamon.
That was a
cimarron,
joke, folks.
whatever
That was
it's
a joke.
pronounced.
Yes, I know.
Did you say Typhoon
Anyways.
Cinnamon?
No. Well,
Yeah,
maybe it is.
Cimarron.
It is an odd, was an odd
Cimarron.
name. That's plenty of odd names.
There's a street over here called that.
Really?
Oh.
Cinnamon or Cimarron?
Yeah, Cimarron. No,
Oh.
Cimarron.
Oh, fair
Cimarron,
enough.
It's a popular
cinnamon.
street. I go off it every day.
Fair enough.
Do we have a wind
Okay.
shear map? Someone's talking and saying there's like really low.
That would be
Um,
nice. We haven't looked
there-
at the wind shear for some
there-
time, but it has been low on our
there-
on the updates.
Yeah.
Your map.
There is, but it says no data available, so it's pretty much useless at this point.
Well, when you do that, just go back 3 hours to show us what it did show.
Yeah. Last one before that showed pretty much nearly no wind shear in the cyclone's vicinity. And the
Well,
last
you
one.
can see
That's-
Joyce.
Yeah.
So let's just say Joyce is pretty much gonna go to a death zone here.
Joyce
Hasn't
is
already.
dead. Leave her alone.
Oh, you should take a look at it, Cesar. It's looking weirdly interesting.
It says
Well, actually, yes.
it says virtually no shear, and if it moves a little bit to the northwest, then it's continually decreasing shear as well.
So, do you mean that a possible reorganization could occur?
It won't be tropical. SSTs there, I
Let's
think, are
see.
around 24.
And the West
Well, there's the West Pacific where the system is 90W.
Yeah,
Now this is typically January in the Western Pacific there.
Do you want to go 3 hours back and show the Indian Basin?
Would be nice.
The Indian Basin? Oh, yeah,
that's where our storm is right now. Go 3 hours back.
3 hours back?
Yeah, near the top.
Up the top left.
Java.
Left?
The Java loop.
Yeah, scroll up a little
Go
bit.
to the top left.
Oh, I see. Oh. Yeah.
You see there's actually decreasing shield that moves a bit to the northwest as well.
You just about make out the storm icon there. And you can press the zoom button, which I didn't know it had. There's a zoom button up the top as well, which I didn't know about till today. And you might want to press that.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
You see, I didn't know about that either.
Huh. Well, there's something you don't learn ever. There's something you don't see every day, I guess.
Well,
but look at the wind shear values. Minimal. Near zero.
Yeah. It's also sandwiched by these deft winds.
But it always has been.
I guess.
All it needs to do is keep a pocket around itself. That's all it needs to do.
And with its fairly small size, no issues so far.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna get going.
Quite worried for the next few hours. Gabe, have a good evening.
Yep.
Didn't it have an anti-cyclone over it? Didn't it have an anti-cyclone over it?
I hope this is not gonna be the scenario I think it's gonna be, but no, never know.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it again.
Answer to your question, Isaac.
Alright, good night. Take care, you guys. Good luck, Murray.
Yeah, because I thought it had a anti-cyclone, and I think it had like 2 inflows, something like that.
2 inflows and an anti-cyclone.
Surface map for the Indian Ocean. I doubt it. Indian Ocean. Research here. Oh, hey. There's some.
Well, whilst he's looking at that.
Okay, this is a model, not a.
Isaac, I was wondering, do you have any new images yet? I know it's just about the time. It's the 15-minute frame.
It updates every 25 minutes, pretty much.
Every 25? Okay.
Next update should come out at 0Z. Advisory.
Now, Craig, I'm going to show the last image that you posted, that wind chart thing. Anything you want to say about that? In fact, we can... Well, actually, we can say something about that. It is a bit lopsided, by the way, but look at the south side there. You can just about see, according to that, and that's off satellite estimates, I'm assuming, the island of Rodrigues there, right at the bottom, just outside of the tropical storm zone. So, interest in Rodrigues, then hopefully that's it for you.
Yeah.
The new image just came in pretty much about a minute after you said that, so good timing.
Alright, let's see it then.
Just hold on about a minute so I could download it.
Oh,
alright, no problem.
I see.
Hurricane 360 has asked us if there is any analysis on Hurricane Francis and Otto. Now,
isn't that Gabe?
Francis of 2004, I'm guessing? I don't think it was changed very much. And Otto, if you mean 2016, well, we were the first to make it a Category 3 long before the National Hurricane Center, I hasten to add. Here's a new image. Here's a new image.
Oh!
New images from Isaac, here we go.
The eye was flaring up.
Here's the newest image from Isaac.
Strengthening cyclone.
We'll continue posting the new ones as they come in. And here's the previous one as well. I'll just constantly rotate back and forth from them.
Strat, you're not
what do you think of
on
the
the
newest
screen.
Am I not sharing my screen?
Nope.
I'm not sharing my screen.
No, Strat. Sorry to tell you. It's
I'm
not
now
going
sharing
for
my
you.
Screen. Here,
You are.
The first one up here is the newest frame, and this one is the previous frame.
Don't be selfish, Strat.
I want to keep all the photos to myself. What do you guys think of this right now?
What was that?
Let's just.
What do you think of the newest frame
Just
compared to the previous one? This is the newest frame.
That's evolving. I'm not sure what else to say apart from it's evolving.
See if I can go even further back.
much into it. It's a developing cyclone.
What's that, Craig?
It's a developing cyclone. I wouldn't go too much into it.
Well, it will probably be classed as hurricane equivalent on Reunion's map
There's
by the
another
next
image.
update at this rate.
The new image, alright.
Well, it's the same image, just another band.
Okay, perfect. I think this shows it off better than the water
That is
maker one
interesting.
itself, normal one.
So this is what
Oh, so
Mauritius
it has two eyes there.
This is what Mauritius is waking up to this morning at 5:20 a.m. local time.
Not a very pleasing situation to wake up to at all.
But I'm still interested about the timing. I mean, this storm is still a clear 48 hours away from significantly affecting Mauritius.
Ah.
And I'm starting to really struggle with that, to be honest, because it isn't that far away. It's only 390, I think it was, at the last update, miles, which is around, how many kilometers? Quite a bit more. Maybe 600.
Just
It's
about.
not ever so far away. And I just wonder, will it take 3 days to get there? I'm not so sure. I guess we'll go back to Addison's wind shear map for the time being, and you can see the wide scale there. You got anything to add?
Well, I was gonna talk about the two invests, 99 and 98. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, not much to
And-
see. Look at that. Did you see that? Go back to that. 98S appears to have just died a death right in front of our eyes.
Yep. Well,
Well, one less
well,
thing
the
to worry about
GFS
then.
was wrong again.
99S, this one's a little bit more interesting because it's near the area. Maybe
Most-
deceptively good looking on that image there.
Very. And it's actually in a wind shear. Good wind shear. Compared to here.
Ooh, only just. It's on the very edge.
Yeah.
Very edge of that
Sorta.
high wind shear area.
Mhm.
There we are.
Come on, Zero Z, where the hell
The
are you?
strange outer band might, if not already, causing flooding in most north.
Well, it does
Rather
worry
north-
me that about
north-
flooding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in Madagascar. Although most of it is, shut up. Most of it isn't really.
I mean, I don't know what the situation is in Madagascar for whether it's in a flood or a drought. Maybe someone in the comments might know. I know that Mauritius and Reunion have had a wet time recently and don't want any more, by what I gather. So this certainly isn't good news with this storm, with
Well,
Berguitta.
well, it has been a La Nina recently, so, or sort of a La Nina.
It still is.
Isaac, is this the newest wind shear photo here?
Very similar
No,
conditions to
that's
2006.
previous.
Previous is 3 hours
Yes,
ago?
the newest one says no data available, so this is from 3 hours back.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
got a good glance at that.
And you can see the
Time-
progressing imagery on the satellite indicated rainfall here. It does look to me as though this storm really is moving northwest now. I don't think it's stalling anymore.
Come on, Zero
Seems
Z,
like
where
it.
are you?
It might be heading.
Craig's getting frustrated over there.
Yeah. If it's moving, if it's the northwest,
Oh.
then as of the graphics that we've been showing, that means it's moving into an area that has decreasing wind shear as well. That's already very low to
God.
begin with.
You've got to
Have
be
a
kidding
deep
me.
upgrade.
I mean, look at that.
For RAM.
And it is decreasing. What are those numbers? Is that decreasing by 10 in that circle to the northwest?
Should be 10.
Right here. Right here is
That's a
10.
5.
This is 5 right here.
5
this
band
is
and 10 band, yep. So that's
And this
decreased by
zero, right?
10. What do they, is that decreased by 10 over how long? 6 hours or 24 or?
I'm not sure.
No one knows.
For the 6
Well,
hours, because it always updates over 6 hours.
6 hours, so it's decreased 10 or decreasing 10 per 6 hours. Well.
Well, then it's definitely heading to a death trap, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been moving much, and over the next couple days, it isn't going to be moving a ton either, except it's going to start getting its way towards Mauritius.
It couldn't be in a better place at the moment.
So. It's going to be...
It's just plotting its revenge or something.
Just try to post another image.
Yeah, are these new? I think we looked at these, since we showed these a little while ago, but look at them again anyways.
Yeah. Please.
Pull them up on Tropical Tidbits briefly for us, just because it's a quicker way to...
Well, we are in a new hour, and we do get new people joining all the time, so I think it's useful.
True. I'll actually just click to open that, and then...
Z is in, and I am in horror.
I'm sorry?
Open here.
Z is in, and I'm in horror. 70 miles an hour.
They've gone up to 70 miles an hour.
Gone to 70, so 60 knots. And these are, I just pulled up my screen share. These are the two 18Z model runs ensembles. This is the GFS.
Craig, what was the pressure?
Oh, I've not got the pressure.
You've not got the pressure. We'll just look at that image there for Strat, and then if you want to talk about it briefly, Strat, whilst we scramble over here.
Yeah, we looked at this a little while ago, but to reiterate for all the new viewers, this is the GFS Ensemble model track. This shows it starting to get a move on within the next day or so. Slowly, though, at first, and then by 96 hours, it can be past Mauritius. As of earlier, it showed a peak at 18Z of 971, but right now it looks like it could be a bit stronger than that.
They've gone with the default pressure at this intensity of 978.
And then this is the CMC ensemble, and like we were explaining earlier, we don't know what to think about that. But we already know its peak intensity isn't correct because they're going with the default 978, and this says its peak will be 984. But the CMC ensemble's absolutely all over the place with this storm. I think it shows it going in a loop at first, and then trying to move to the southwest. But those are the current models.
How that is 70 miles an hour is beyond me.
Well, I would have gone with that actually. There isn't enough. It's not had that appearance for long enough to call it Category 1 yet. And as you can see, the information is just updated on the top left of our screen here.
In the newest infrared on RAM from 30 UTC 30Z, the eye, or what could be becoming the eye, is continuing to start to clear out more and more on infrared.
Exactly.
Visible, there isn't really much yet. It's still pretty dark, so I can't say anything in particular with that.
We'll get some visible soon, probably after we've gone though. 30 minutes
by midday.
for us here.
And I'll just check up and see if there's any more questions.
I know people tuning in because we're getting into the morning hours in Mauritius, just so that everyone knows what our schedule is going to be. I think we're just about decided that, well, here with our team, we are not really accustomed to this time zone, so we're going to be off the air for some time during the next few hours after the end of this hour, but after that, probably around 4 or 5 p.m. local time in Mauritius is when we're going to begin some more updates and probably some more live coverage later on in the evening. We'll definitely be on in the main hours during the evening in Mauritius, and obviously we'll keep you very much up to date. In between all that, you can follow us on our Facebook and Twitter pages, search Force 13 all in text, and you can also join our server on Discord as well if you use that, and my personal account is Fool13 at extension 9094, FOOL13 extension 9094, and you can also add Force 13 on Skype as well. Although if you do any of the latter two and add my personal account, then I might be a little slow replying when I am live for obvious reasons, but there we go.
I also feel like since we're in a bit of a lull, I'll just go out of my way to show off the website if you want me to do that, Nathan.
No, don't do it.
No.
Because most of the pages still haven't been finished or even started yet. All we really have is the home page and the storm tracking page right now, which also needs a bit of work. But you can check the website, force13.com, and it pops up on your screen every so often on the left-hand side. That website is under reconstruction, and there will be a lot more on it after this storm clears when I have more time to actually work on it. It's one of our big priorities this month to get the website back up and running. It's been down for some time, but that's something we'll be working on. But keep it here for now.
Crowd human. Further on this. I got it.
And you can also see Addison's screen here showing the sea surface temperatures and how they are rather warm. It's quite difficult to see. There's a bit blurred on my screen, but that gradient which he's hovering over with his cursor right now is the 28 band by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So right where the storm is, sea surface temperatures generally 27s and 28s.
And there's 99? Yeah, it was 99.
And
Jose is pretty much over here.
Hey Strat, you shouldn't have told the secret about the website either, by the way. Some people might have trouble accessing it because it is a known issue. It might be something to do with your cache. You might want to clear that and try again. Hopefully that will work.
Yeah, at least for me, I haven't had any problems with it personally.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. Just remind me.
I guess.
Oh, it worked. It worked for the Addison.
Yeah.
There is the website.
Not
I guess we're on the...
Although, actually, the only issue here is that there's no invest right here.
I know that information is quite old now. Because we've been live. But there we are. Go ahead, Isaac.
I guess, I guess while we're in a low, I'm just going to repeat it again, because I'm certain we probably have new viewers on here. Be certain you look at you pay attention and be really, really vigilant to your local officials, Law Reunion. Make sure you check their website out. Make sure you're prepared for this storm. And it's, like I said, like we've been saying, it's uncertain right now whether it'll be going to the south or the north or a direct hit over Mauritius or around those islands. But please keep tabs on your local officials and government agencies as they're trying to protect your lives here. Be prepared for this thing just in case the worst comes to worst. Get prepared now while you still can and before any of the supplies get picked up, because I'm certain there are probably going to be a lot of people at stores trying to get prepared for this thing. But I just wanted to repeat that for any newcomers onto here. Just be prepared. Stay up to date. Probably like a radio, because your power might go out depending on how strong the winds are.
And you know it's you can't do much when the power goes out.
Yeah, like if there's any radio weather stations or something like that you could listen to over there, which I don't know if there is. That's pretty much the only way I could say you could probably have any information. If the power does go out.
Well, we're looking back at that water vapor imagery of the storm again and how it's been progressing in the last few hours, and well, we get to a point after a while where we just get completely transfixed by the storm, don't we? And it just all looks the same.
The latest frame is an hour ago.
New ones just came in.
Continue to improve since then.
New ones just came in, Strat.
New ones just came in. All right, let's take a look at it. Oh, it's not there in the chat yet, so I'll just keep on this for a second.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put them on that fast. I'm not.
What are you keeping on, Strat? We can't see a thing.
Oh, do you not see it anymore? I'm still in the water vapor.
Stop being selfish.
We never saw it, Strat. My goodness. What is he like?
Oh no, screen share was never on.
No, it was never on, Strat. You're welcome.
I thought...
Foolish.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Someone did mention that dry air in the southwest of the storm. Yes, there is a lot of it. Look at that.
Yes,
dry air still dominating over the Mascarene Islands.
But it will take toll of the storm in the next few hours, so that means it will at least.
I mean, I've been wondering for quite some time, Cesar, how the storm's going to react to this, and well, it's going, despite that.
Well, we'll hope it affects the storm soon to not see Berguitta so intense in the next few days, and hope it for the best for the people living there.
Yeah. Strat, what are you doing?
We got the new
Trying to
image
screen
here from
share.
Isaac, so I will pull that up and I will make sure to turn on screen share so
That
no one not being
that
greedy.
might just be a good idea.
Yeah, it
And
might.
here's the newest image posted by
There we are.
Isaac. This is
Now that is clearer.
5
Now look
minutes
at
ago.
this, is very interesting. Now you see
Holy
that.
Wow.
Well, it's got two eyes now, hasn't it?
Wait, got
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I didn't know. It was. We still don't really know which one is the actual eye, but
Well, based
Well,
off of
let's-
microwave, it should be what we're considering to be like what we would think of as the main eye, right there in the heart of the deep convection starting to try to circulate around this little area right here.
that convection further north's even deeper.
That's true.
So
Well, I guess
we don't know.
This is a complicated scenario.
Great meteorology
Somewhere.
here.
just
We are
discovered this
pioneering meteorologists, not knowing
Yes.
which
We're
one is the
checking a
actual-
reverse spinny.
But-
We're checking a reverse spinny thing with a name on it.
That's pretty much
It's
it.
literally it.
actually. It's just because winds and rain and stuff too.
But this is why it's so fascinating, I suppose. But obviously, I mean, there are two ways you can look at these systems. There's the scientific or the meteorological way where we comment on just the appearance of this storm and the technical information and all that stuff. Or we could talk about the human part of it and you know, what the warnings are. There's still class 3 warnings in effect for Rodrigues. That warning's been in effect for quite some time. We believe that Rodrigues has just left the storm area, and the storm will slowly be pulling away, but will soon arrive at Mauritius in maybe a day or two. We don't quite know when yet. But your questions really sort of guide us in the direction of our stream, to be quite honest. So if you've got questions about any aspect of this storm, do send them in the 20 minutes that we have left here. Start your message with Force 13 all in text in the comments if you're there, and it'll all light up for me and we can get to answering them.
Oh,
And here's the other water vapor.
dear.
Oh, look at that.
At least in my opinion, it seems like that second area that we
Now
see
you
better
see,
right
some
here.
people got a little confused here, saying that they only see one eye. But I tell you what, if you were looking at this for the first time, Strat, and this was the first image you saw, as a lot of people are doing waking up this morning in Mauritius, you would think that that one on the left is the eye.
You would this is probably the. Oof, this is actually hard. Looking at this water
it?
vapor, the green one, it almost feels like, at least in my opinion, that that's just a little slot of dry air that it's trying to clear out. But then you look at
Yeah.
then you look at this image, and it seems much more not that clear. Correct?
It's very unclear.
I think it's the eye to the south, to be
You
honest.
think it's this one?
It's going to
that
be a
eye thing.
debating point here.
We'll find out within
Well, I
the next
don't
3
know.
hours or so. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
If,
there in the
if I
background.
go back to a
Okay.
if I go back a while up, this is a this is the
I think it's
previous
the eye.
photo.
I think it's the eye on the south.
I would be inclined to
Oh,
agree,
boy.
but
Oh.
I think we'll have to wait another 2-3
We
hours
agree.
to find out for sure.
Well, viewers, I guess this is our first poll that we'll be doing.
Oh.
Actually,
What do you think? Which one is the real eye?
I want to
here's
Right,
the,
it's
rotate
here's
not
the
like the other.
visible, even though it's
The
like-
southern one.
It's like asking the question,
the
was there
northern
one
one,
Lee or
the
two?
the western, the one, the western one, and the southern one.
I will ask the question in chat and count the responses.
I don't think you need to do that, we just mentioned it, but if you want.
Yeah, that's just me being.
I
mean.
really
You've
think.
got a-
I
you've got-
really do think.
You've got some answers there. Oh, did there have to be an I pun in there as well? My God, you guys doing?
Sorry. Oh, flying hell. Oh, dear.
The dry air is
You
still.
Strap,
really
you did
dumb.
that in caps lock. That does not look particularly professional.
I apologize, but we have 2 answers now.
Yes. Yes, I see him. Okay. Cool.
The dry air. They're looking at this. It's actually very surprising how much dry air there is to the southwest of the storm and how it's maintaining itself.
There's a
despite
sea
that.
of it. There's loads.
Yeah. Very dry air too. It's not just a little bit. It's
I'm
like
just curious as to. It just
dries the Saharan air layer.
runs into a wall of moisture.
There's no really ebb and flow of it. It just directly cuts from one to the other.
Cesar, are you with us? I just
Yes,
wanted to.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to get your
Sorry.
take on
Oh.
that. What would you have you got any comment on that observation on that big wall of moisture
Well,
that this
That's
dry air
kinda
is
inter-
running into? You know.
it's interesting how well developed is that moisture there, and that dry air is really like taking part of the storm. For me, it will be really important to see how much will intensify Berguitta before being affected directly by that dry air, and how much it will be. How I can say it? I always forget the words. Much it will intense will be before moving really into the islands, because that dry air it could be really helpful for those islands. They're pretty tiny, and practically a very intense storm could easily wipe out those islands. So hopefully that dry air could affect the storm enough to not make it so intense.
Well, we
I
have
don't
been
know.
seeing on those model ones, maybe they have been factoring in this dry air a little bit more because, as I said earlier, apart from the GFS and HWRF, 12 hours ago they were saying that, you know, the air pressure in the storm as it was passing the islands would probably be in the 950s. Now they're saying generally 960s apart from those two. So the general trend on the model runs is they're weakening its peak. But does that really mean much, because they weren't expecting this stall after all? Well, 1 or 2 were, but I don't think any of them were at first.
And if it
Yeah.
continues to move this slow. Oh, sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
No,
Matteo France
go ahead,
certainly
don't
weren't
worry.
expecting it.
Yeah,
Strat?
what I was going to say is it's moving slower than expected, which means, especially because it's still moving in areas of really low wind shear, that gives it more of a chance to intensify.
I see something vaguely interesting here.
Where?
Especially the eastern Australian part of the basin.
Eastern
and-
Australia.
Yeah. Well, not a disturbance, but something peculiar. There's a lot of warm water.
Yeah. And low shear.
Yeah.
Well, this is something we'll probably be watching for in
and then-
next month. Oh, you're
and
looking...
this-
Yes. Now.
Yeah, this issue right here, this far out, but yeah.
Now, we've been looking at these trends, and there is hints that the Pacific area and the eastern coast of Australia will be warming up next month. Or at the end of this month? Into next month.
Yeah, and no, actually, that's a couple of weeks from now.
Yes?
No, that's like...
It's not
that's
soon.
Saturday. Yeah. So...
But at the moment, it seems as
see.
though the emphasis right now is in the Indian Ocean, but it's going to move east over time in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so at the moment it's quiet, but calm before the literal storm, I guess.
Well, let's hope it's not another Debbie.
Or any other Queensland Vanuatu storm.
Indeed, like Yasi. Isaac, are you still with us at this point?
Yes.
Any developments?
Well, I'm just looking at satellite imagery, and it looks like it's trying to intensify, like we've been seeing. I don't really have much to say other than repeating what I usually say is, just everybody be prepared. Prepare for this thing because it's gonna be on you. In no time. Now whether it'll be to the north, south, or direct, we don't know.
Let's go back to the Réunion forecast. La Réunion's track map, which was issued at 4 o'clock this morning local time, and you can see where the storm they think it will go. They think it's going to move now, but they said 24 hours ago it was going to move now, and it's been stalling ever since. But they think it's going to peak in about 18 hours. No, 36 hours, which would make it tomorrow afternoon local time. They think it's going to peak then just before its closest approach to St. Brandon. It'll probably end up being maybe 150 miles, 200 kilometers away from St. Brandon to the south, and then within maybe 200 kilometers of Mauritius and Réunion, much closer to Réunion according to that forecast map, as a hurricane force cyclone. I don't know if anyone else wants to show something on their screen whilst I try and find some more information. Addison's looking at the Atlantic. There is a tropical low in the Atlantic, believe it or not, guys.
Yeah.
Tropical low again?
No, the first one I was talking about, but I've not mentioned it on the event.
HPA.
Yeah, well, it's not going to do anything, we can tell you
Yeah,
that.
and the public.
Sorry, I was gone.
Is this gonna be? I wonder if this is gonna be like Arlene did. But
I just want to give you, actually, I've got to tell you what Réunion are saying at their latest update on Berguitta. Their latest update, in terms of the numbers, they're saying that the wind speed is 65 miles an hour, though they usually go a bit low, and they're saying the pressure is 983.
New image.
So 65 miles an hour, 983 according to the officials at La Réunion. According to the JTWC, it's 70 miles an hour and 978 millibars.
Yeah,
New image just came in, and this one's gonna this one shows pretty much which eye is the legit eye, I think, in this photo. So everybody let's see who's right.
Yeah, I screen shared as well right now, so this is the image that Isaac posted.
Finally, Strat has managed to screen share without a prompt.
Yes.
I apologize, I was away for a couple minutes and I come back and I kind of got my act together.
We got it. That's very much, that's a very similar imagery to what I've been showing for some time.
Yeah.
The picture should be up in now. Just wait like 2 seconds for it to load, because Discord.
Yeah, I'm hovering. Here we are.
He was right.
And yes! We have a winner.
I was correct.
Yeah. Although both eyes look like they're gonna merge.
I'm still not convinced, believe it or not.
The thing, I think that was just a little drier area that's being filled in my opinion, at least.
I think this thing is about to I think this thing, if anything, if it's not already gonna show us now, I think this thing is gonna start intensifying significantly by tomorrow. If that smaller pinhole southeastern one is the actual eye, it'll intensify significantly. But if the central one is really the eye, then it'll start intensifying much slower.
Southeastern, western.
The one that is further north should, if it does develop, it'll have to fully wrap around itself before it even begins to intensify. But the pinhole one looks like anyway to me, it looks like it's the actual eye. But if it isn't, if it is, then I think we're going to be seeing a significant storm in about a day's time.
I think we might
There's a
already
further
be seeing
image.
it. We've got 10 more minutes here, everyone. So I just want to make the viewers aware. 10 minutes. If you want to send in your questions or comments to us, you got 10 minutes to do that on this particular event. Do send them in. Start your message with Force 13 all in text. Strat.
I feel like this. I was just gonna say, I feel like this zoomed out image that Isaac just sends kind of gives us a better picture if you want to think the southeast is the main eye. I want to be that guy that pulls up the previous image to see the difference. This is the older one, and then this is the brand new one. It feels like, almost for certain, it feels like there's a pinhole eye opening there rather than this one closer to the center of the storm being the actual eye.
Do it again.
Inconclusive.
Inconclusive, but it feels more certain. This is the previous picture here, and then this is the newest one right here.
That is so
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
You also see with what some people are thinking the pinhole eye, you'll see that there's a new deeper convection band that's wrapped fully around compared to at least this photo right here. And if I try to go even further back,
people asking questions like, will this thing do a Lee and form two circulations? This is nothing like a Lee situation. The first Lee had already degenerated before the second one formed.
Yeah.
No doubt that this has only one circulation. It's not two eyes. It's we don't know which one the real eye is. That's what it is.
Well, at least in my opinion, based off of the three last
positive
it should be the southeast.
It really should be the southeastern one. I think if anything, you can see convection starting to wrap around it, and you can actually see that there's like some circular eruption around the what some people think is the northern eye. It's going over that so-called northern eye is what I'm gonna call it, but at this point we really don't know. I think it is the south. I think it's the southern eye, though.
Although, if you could get, I don't know if it's at all possible to get an exact latitude longitude on those two features.
Isaac, do you know if that's possible?
Because I'm looking at imagery now. I'll show you.
See if I can.
I'm looking at the satellite estimate rainfall, and the last image, or one of the recent images there, shows possibly maybe hints of an eye there as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know
as of
confusing. But clearly the storm, one thing we can say just briefly, this storm is clearly moving northeast.
Yes,
northeast?
as of about an hour, as of about somewhere around an hour or 30 minutes ago, it was around negative, is that about 63? No, 63 and 18.
63 east, 18 south?
Yes.
Okay.
The coordinates where the storm, where I think the center of the storm may be, or if that's not correct, but that's for the central, that's for the northern eye. For the southern eye, which we still don't know, it's about
potential
60.
eye 1 and potential eye 2. We don't know.
Potential eye 2.
Here's a better image. Here's a better image. Here's a better image of the latitude and longitude lines that'll help you know where it's at.
One right
you can barely
here.
see them. I know it's kind of hidden, but you can still see the latitude and longitude lines there.
Yeah, here's the point out.
One moment. Okay.
So this is latitude long right here. 65 east, 60 east, 10, 15.
Well, looking at the latest
20,
here.
That says 20. I said 15 south, 20 south. So it's right in the middle, basically.
Oh,
right
blimey.
now.
I think the eye is something like 17.5 south, 62.7 east. But you can't be as accurate as that.
Put a poll.
Oh, no.
Yeah, what do you think?
We already did that. We're gonna have to scrap that.
I just don't know. It's a confusing one, but
these are like the clearest ones right now, and it looks like there's more core wrapping around this southeast thing, especially if I go to these and you look at the past 3 of those. Although, I guess right now
on the
this is
page.
speculation.
Update on the page. Berguitta is now a cyclone with 76 mile/hour winds and 979 millibars.
What?
According to
According
who?
Call out to everyone.
According to who?
though?
Hold up 1 sec.
No one in particular? Or is that
Gabe?
your observation? Is that your
I
estimate?
think that's my
Well, I'm sure Craig
Okay.
agrees.
That's what I think. That's what I think of it.
I'm sure Craig agrees.
No, that's what
I think it's-
.co.uk says.
Oh
actually.
no.
That's what it says.
It's not what my website said. Oh dear.
I'm screen sharing it right now.
Yeah.
Like
No,
what
I'm
it
just
says.
agreeing with it. No, I'm just okay.
Our own
If-
website thinks
I'm
it's a
disagreeing
category
with it.
1. Well, is it?
It also classifies choice as a subtropical depression, though.
Ah, that's where it came
No,
from.
actually, I take that back. No, actually, I take that back.
Now, I
think
can tell you where that comes from. That uses real-time ATCF information, which is different from normal ATCF and is not as official as normal ATCF is. So that is unofficial.
Oh.
It's unofficial at the moment. But
Okay.
I mean, you're right.
Actually,
that
now
goes
that I
with the
take a look at
cyclone.
this thing, I think it's probably closer to 75 and 80. I think it's slightly
Oh.
weaker than what the
Well,
thing
it,
says,
yeah,
but
it
I
looks
think
like
this.
it's going to get there eventually. Very
I think,
soon.
but if anything, I think this thing is almost, if it isn't already, I think it is just about a cyclone. But that's just what I think
Regardless,
about
it is an intensifying system, and
It's
gonna be
intensifying
hitting land
regardless.
within the next few days. Whether or not it's direct landfall is up in question, but regardless, that means people in the situation area need to be keeping an eye on this constantly.
Yeah. Like I've said, make sure, because I know the stream's gonna end in a few minutes here, make sure you have everything prepared and all that. And all your supplies,
Honestly.
radios, just in case the power goes out. Stay tuned with your officials, Lava Union. They'll provide you the latest information on whether you need to take shelter or not. And at this point in time, we don't know whether the storm is going to make a direct landfall, south, north. We don't know, or how strong it'll be. Will be seen, to be seen. So stay safe, everyone. That's really all I
Final
can
thoughts
say.
from everyone else?
I got one.
Yep.
I posted it on here, but see the GFS tomorrow. This is the maximum
boy.
of this, and
Velocity
then the CMC on the 23rd, right here.
Oh no, that's the CMC model though.
Oh god!
I know that.
Addison,
Don't mention that.
No.
Addison,
no.
we're gonna have to leave that. Anyone else?
I was just gonna say it's a intensifying
It's games.
system, which is borderline hurricane level, if not already. Nathan, your site says it is, but we can say that it may or may not be at this point. It's hard to tell. It could very well be, but if not, it is going to be there shortly. But people near the area in Mauritius need to be keeping an eye on the storm,
Right.
as it could be life-threatening.
Alright. My last final words would be I am supporting Category 1 here. And this, like everyone else saying, this is an intensifying storm in Mauritius. In the Reunion, you need to be preparing, because this thing is going to approach pretty soon, whenever it stops stalling. And that's all I have to add.
Alright then, well, I guess we're done for now. That is it from our coverage this evening, or this morning as it is over here now, for time for Force 13 HQ coming up to 2 o'clock. We will have more updates for you later this afternoon, around 5 PM or so. The timings might be a little bit off, but certainly by the evening Mauritius time we'll have a lot more updates to come as this storm continues to develop, and boy is it developing. We'll have some more recordings, video updates and live events throughout tomorrow, or today as it is now. Today, this evening in Mauritius, and in Reunion we'll have updates on everything. that's all from us tonight. Until next time, stay safe and have a good day over there in Mauritius and in Reunion, and good night to everyone else who's been joining us during our live stream tonight from America, the UK and beyond. That's it from us. See you soon.